Hey guys, I'm Phoenix here and welcome to OpenTTD. This is Transport Tycoon Deluxe. This is a completely free to download and it's a transportation builder. Sort of. You're put into the shoes of a transport tycoon who's trying to build up a company. And while you're building up your company, you're also actually affecting the world. So cities are growing and they're sprawling into other cities and all that sort of thing. So this is a bit of an experiment for a possible series because I'm not very good, quite frankly, at doing series of things. I don't know what the plural is. Anyway, probably series. Yeah, I'm not very good at doing these things anyway. So I thought, well, why don't I have something that I can basically set off, leave in the background while I'm doing other things, and then every so often record any various modifications that I make to the simulation, because that's pretty much how you seem to play it. It's not you don't focus necessarily only on the game. You kind of do things around it. Now I have. I should note that this screen is actually a very good example of the complexity that is allowed in this game. So yeah, you can download this. It's completely free online. And this and Warzone, I think, are my two sort of go-to games. They're completely free. They're kept up to date by the community. And it's all pretty awesome. So I'm going to load up a game that I've already rendered called Session. Now, I did a bit of an experiment with this one. So what we've got is we've got a low amount of towns and a low amount of industries. The problem with the normal one is that you do end up with a lot of sort of clustered up industries and all sorts just piled on top of one another. I am also starting in 1940, so this is actually technically mid-World War II. By Earth's standards, this is a sort of nondescript plot of land somewhere. This is the largest map. It's huge, absolutely huge, and this simulation will just kind of basically keep going on in the background. So first thing I like to do is find some towns to link up. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a browse around. I wanted to have a fair amount of water as well. This is because you can get ships in the game and you can have canals. And I thought it might be quite interesting to mess around with that a little bit. And I may have just found a couple of interesting towns here. You see, we've got this one called Mondinghattan, 701 residents. We'll get into that in a minute. And we've got this one over here, which is 181 residents, and this one over here that's 1,595 residents. Now, if I was to connect all these up, they would all participate in growth in some way. If I just click on this one, we'll see passengers last month 0, max 24, mail last month 0, max 1. Town is not growing. Now if I was to connect that one up to that one and give it some kind of a link, either a bus link or a train link, then we would actually see both towns growing. This is the simplest mode, basically. It's just give them passengers. There is one where you can give them food and water, but I wanted something that would just sort of grow over time without too much input. And actually this is quite good because we are quite near Puntown, which is actually quite big, and would thus generate quite a lot of stuff. Plus it would also want goods. So when a town gets big enough, it wants goods, and goods you make elsewhere. So you pipe in goods and you get stuff. The other industry that we've got just down here is a power station. If we provide it with coal, well, it's it's one of the few industries where you can put something in and you don't get anything out that you can see anyway, but you'll just get a constant supply of cash. It's sort of a good bit of a cash cow if you can connect it up. So down here we got some coal. Production last month 153 tons. So I mean we could connect those two up. That would give us a bit of money to start off with, but it does mean building over some rough terrain. So you're having to think about quite a lot in this simulation just to kind of get going. I think though what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to these islands up here. I'm going to connect them up. So let's start off with a train. So that's probably the easiest way. I'm just going to basically create a shuttle service from Prinwell City down to Suntown. So quite simply, just going to stick a couple of those down and lay some track. Now, laying track and laying roads, some important things to know because of how towns expand. So towns will expand across straight lines. So they will build out roads in a straight line, and it's very much like a grid system that you might find in America. They will not expand through diagonal parts of rails particularly well, so they'll be sort of blocked by that. So creating a sort of circle around your city with railways is a terrible idea if you want the town to grow. So by creating straight lines, yeah, it's a little bit longer, but it means that you're not wasting space that could be taken up by town. Right, so let's just go into here, and I'm going to pick a reasonably decent steam engine. I'm looking at reliability here. It's a reasonably short run. I don't need a huge amount of power, but I might want to expand it later on. So I'm going to stick with the Jubilee. Let's buy that one and grab a passenger carriage and a mail van. Go to there. Go to there. There's other sort of selections that we can do, but for now it's just a very, very simple run. Just go from one place to another, pick up any passengers and mail. So that's going to go and do that. Meanwhile, I need to set up a second run, because we've got this place up here. What do you mean train 1 is lost? Oh, it should be fine. So, oh, I was missing a piece of track there, which behind that building, so I think that should be fine now. You can't rotate around the map, unfortunately. So it's a perspective game. So you are stuck in this field, but you can zoom in and zoom out. Generally, if a train is lost or something is lost, either you're missing a track piece somewhere and it can't get to its location, or for some reason it's managed to go down the wrong spur. You can sort of rectify that by using sort of signals and the like to try and make sure that they're not going into weird areas, but generally if there's a reason, if a train has got lost, then there's going to be a good reason behind it. These are pretty small, so anyway, that town is not growing, but it probably will by the time that, I mean, you know, they're going to be going back with quite a lot of passengers and mail. Possibly too much. So we need to do something else with this, because this is going to constantly produce passengers and mail, and we need to put it somewhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a transfer route. So the idea of a transfer route is that you take, well, okay, I have basically have two options here. Either I put in a bridge across here and then a train all the way in. Could do that. Be extremely expensive to do that. Or I could do the same with a road and use buses. Again, going to be expensive, and buses and trucks, they're going to be very slow. Alternatively, we can put in a ferry. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So, So what we're going to do is we're going to create a ferry from here to here using a transfer. So we first need to get our waterway going. This is going to be a dock, so we want a dock, and we want it reasonably close. Ideally, we want it maybe about there, but unfortunately, we're not near any kind of river. So how do we fix this? Well, we can put in a lock, but our lock needs to be, it's got to be 3 long, and we're going to have to do is a little bit of terrain modification, a little bit of landscaping. So I'm just going to drop that one down there. It's going to be expensive, but it would be worth it in the long run, I think. Especially, you know, you kind of get we could have also created, we could create an airport, but yeah, they're expensive. Planes are expensive and not very reliable and not very fast, especially in 1940s construct. So we need this one, which is our dock, and then a waterway in here like that. Just like that. And then I think I can put in a, oh, I can't put it in a dock. How do I put it in a dock? I think what I need to do is landscape up. Oh, what I need to do is remove this bit. Just borrow some money. And then landscape up here like that, and then I should be able to put in a dock, and that will supply passengers, mail and goods to the good people of Mondinghattan, like that. Next we just need a standard dock in somewhere that's going to be supplied by this rail line, so let's just put in a rail line. Let's also put in some track that will bound across here, and then finally we just need our dock, which is that one? No, wait, that one. Which I need to go in there. You might need to just modify this railway very slightly in that just go in like that. Now here, don't need to worry, it's far enough out that we don't need to worry about growth and all that sort of stuff. So what we have now is Suntown Docks. Last thing we need, of course, is our ship dock. And we can just get in a passenger ferry, which I might need to borrow some more money for. Go to there, go to there, go. Of course, that's just going to set it off. It's going to be going forwards and backwards with nobody on it for a little while, until we throw in our train depot and get up again, it's not really going to be doing a huge amount of work, and I can only afford a single carriage for it. That's fine, like that, and then go. So now, before I just need to stop that for a second. Go back into here. So it's going to go to Suntown. It's going to pick up passengers. It's then going to take it to Suntown Docks. It's then going to not unload, but it's going to transfer, and then it's going to go. The reason for this is that what we want to do, we don't want to unload. If we would try to unload, it just wouldn't do it. There's no industries nearby that actually want passengers, so they're just going to stay on the train backwards and forwards. Instead, if we do a transfer, it means that the passengers will alight at Suntown Docks. They'll wait for the ferry to come in. They will then get a ferry and be taken over to our good town of Mondinghattan. And then any passengers over here will get on the ferry and they'll go back to Suntown Docks, whereby they'll be picked up and taken back to Suntown. So over here we've got 40 passengers that are just waiting for the ferry, and the ferry will pop up at some point. But I'm going to end this episode here. Certainly this is now basically going to grow over time, and I'll do some modifications here and there, just adding in little bits. And so the next time you will see this this town, I may have expanded a little and possibly put in a passenger ferry down to here and up to here, just so that I've got that passenger ferry constantly running. And who knows, I might expand out other places as well. But for now, I will say thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.